Let's go to the capital, Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan, that is, and speak to Fahd Husain, a political analyst. Fahd, thank you so much for joining us. Just basically in the overall context of security between the two countries, how serious is what's happening at Torkham?
Well, actually, it's pretty serious, but unfortunately, this is not the first time that this has happened. The firing across the border was triggered by this dispute, but it is part of a larger escalation of tension between the two countries, and the primary reason is that this rise in terrorism cases in Pakistan that you just referred to, almost all of them are emanating from Afghanistan and from groups which are either based on Afghan soil or are have some refuge there. So despite repeated, many times that Pakistani government has spoken to the Taliban government in Kabul and to try and convince them to put an end to this. Unfortunately, that has not happened. So clearly, Pakistan is suffering, and it is suffering because of the terrorism emanating from Afghanistan, and the Taliban are either unable or unwilling to put an end to it, and therefore the situation is actually pretty precarious.
Yeah, now that's really critical here about the responsibility that the Afghan Taliban has. How much do we know about it actively encouraging these sorts of attacks, and how much is negligence, shall we say? Because obviously the Afghan Taliban will never admit if there is in any way any order coming from Kabul.
Well, I mean, it might be hard to say whether the Kabul is actively taking part in these attacks, but the key issue is that the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, which is a terrorist group, it is based in Afghanistan and it has taken refuge there, and the Taliban government has actually given it refuge. Not only that, but because they are aligned with them ideologically, so what Pakistan has been told is that there is not much that the Taliban government can actually do, which may or may not be true, but that doesn't solve Pakistan's problem. So as long as TTP has space in Afghanistan, as long as it is free to use that as a base to attack Pakistan, and as long as the Taliban government is unwilling to do anything about it, ultimately the responsibility does fall on the Kabul government, which is where the relationship between Pakistan and Afghanistan is deteriorating. And I think Pakistan is absolutely right in saying that as long as this terrorism emanating from Afghanistan continues to create havoc in Pakistan, the responsibility lies squarely on the shoulders of the Kabul government.
Father, in the past couple of weeks, the PKK terror group that has killed more than 40,000 people during terror attacks over 40 years has agreed to lay down its weapons. Decades ago, the IRA in Ireland, after that Northern Irish troubled history, laid down its weapons. Surely the TPP, it's going to be very difficult, shall we say, to defeat the group militarily. Can the Pakistani government reach some kind of peace deal with the Tehreek-e-Taliban in Pakistan?
Well, I mean, an attempt was already made a couple of years back, and that has backfired. Not only has it backfired, but it has actually led to TTP using that period where negotiations were taking place to replenish itself and find new recruits and find a base in Afghanistan. So negotiations have failed, and at this stage where we are today, I think chances of any more talks are negligible. In fact, I would say there's zero, which is why I think the government of Pakistan has decided and has said so very categorically that there will not be any peace negotiations because the TTP has now escalated its wave of terrorism against Pakistan. Therefore, I think it is a fight to the end, and which is why the role of Kabul becomes so important, and that is why I think in his recent address to the Congress, U.S. President Donald Trump, he thanked Pakistan for helping arrest a key person involved in the terror attack on Americans when they were withdrawing from Afghanistan. So clearly, when it comes to Afghanistan and terrorism, there is now some common ground between Pakistan and the United States, and that may open up some more options for Pakistan.
Interesting. Fahd, really, really thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on TRT World. Fahd Husain.